Mullen stock fell by 10% on Wednesday's trading session, going from a price of 22.75 cents to 20.5 cents. So will it break the 20-cent support, and should you buy? Sit tight as we go through recent news as well as my chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for regular stock market updates. The big crash left investors devastated, and as a result, Mullen's Twitter was flooded with criticism. The company's most recent tweet got about 19 replies, and not a single one of them was positive, as people called Missouri out for not valuing them. David Missouri has long been criticized for just making promises and then going back to diluting the shareholders and throwing the stock lower. One investor tweeted that Mullen risks being delisted from the Nasdaq, and on top of that, they have no actual cars out there. In our opinion, Mullen is at a make or break point, and if David brushes this off, it will hurt the company to the point of no repair. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1-day chart for MULN, and as always, we'll first analyze the 1-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and on top we'll get the 5-minute chart. But right off the bat, we'll get straight into the video. We can see that first up, we're in a negative trend, right? The channel is completely negative, and there's a small positive side, and that is that we've kind of halted the negative trend over here around the 20-cent range. But is that really such a great factor? Well, not really, right? Let me tell you why. We can see that we kind of stretched, or rather not exactly stretched, we got inflated into this range, fell back, continued with the bearish trend. That means we tried to escape this range, but we failed over here, right? That's mainly because, you know, this pump was caused only by announcements like ELMS, IGO, and all of that stuff. But this, bear trend that we can see over here is pretty much a bearish trend that has been going on since a long time, and that is why the trend pressure, the seller pressure, all of that has put down the stock. At the same time, when will we break through this? Well, it's pretty simple. Whenever Mullen sells a single car, we'll break through this. But when will that happen? The way that David Missouri is going, well, probably not anytime soon, right? This is because we saw a tweet on Twitter where David Missouri, through the account of Mullen USA, asked that once you get the Mullen 5, tag one friend that you want to take along on a ride, right? And people were really mad at that tweet because, once your shareholders are down like 10 or 12% in a single day, right? 10%, you don't make tweets like that, right? You're supposed to go work and actually work, right? Work does not indicate that you have to show the entire world that, hey, look, this is what we're going to do or this is what we are doing. It means that you do something and show them the results. That is how the market works. The market does not work on emotions, it works on logic. And that, of course, is one of the major reasons why Mullen has fallen. Because if we look at the logic, of course, Mullen at its current state is a beaten up stock, right? And I'm not a hater of the stock, of course, right? I love Mullen and I personally want it to prosper as a company, and that is exactly why I'm giving this, I won't exactly call it criticism, but more like feedback. That if David Missouri is watching this video, man, please get your cars out. The investors are really suffering at this point, right? We all know that we've had countless times when we got announced about a deal, right? We got told about a deal like ELMS, IGO. We thought that, hey, this is the big time then when Mullen will actually turn profitable. It will generate revenue. It will, go on to become a wonderful company. But every single time that has failed, right? Let's be real, that has failed. So will he deliver this time? Well, he did say in the 18th November podcast, I forgot the date, but we had a podcast like last week on some channel on YouTube, I forgot the name, and David Missouri there was talking about um, Mullen's fundamentals and how he, thinks of that, how he thinks about the future of this company basically, and why he thinks that he'll now focus on doing more work than talking. But well, he's back talking, so that's a negative point. Anyways, he did say in that podcast that a lot of great announcements are ready and they'll be out in a few days, right? Or rather, a few weeks. So I'm personally really hoping to see at least a few sales, right? And we did get the what do you call that? The Amazon partner, yeah, that was Delpac Logistics, right? So the Delpac logistics order is in progress as well, and that probably will bring a small amount of sales to the company. But anything is good at this point, right? The company has to be a bit desperate for sales, and they need to at least produce something, make something, and sell it. That's, it's that simple. And once they do it, the stock will have no literal boundaries. And of course, that's not financial advice, but I personally can already see the stock giving a 10x return. And this, in my opinion, well, I already told you a long time back that Mullen will drop to this level of 20 cents once again. It will fall below 25 cents, and it did. And this exactly is the accumulation zone that I was hoping for. And I personally am very happy to be able to accumulate the stock in this range. And I think you should be as well. Again, no financial advice. But if we talk about the price target, I've already given a $2 price target. But this time to up it up a little bit, I'll probably go for something like 2.8, right? $2.8. That would indicate a 24x return. Wait, no, a 14x return. I'm sorry for that. Right? So even if we get a 14x return, that's still a really, really good return. But with that being said, of course, if we want to analyze the stock in a bit more detail, we'll have to head on into the 1 hour chart. So let's do that. So now that we're in the 1 hour chart for Mullen, we can see that over here on 23rd November, we can see that we got a massive gap down, right? This was the pre-market over here. After that, the first candle itself was a pin bar on the upside, but it was followed by a red candle and a pin bar on the downside. So that indicated this bear run over here, right? Honestly, it was a pretty good opportunity to short the stock, and you could have easily made like even a 10% return with leverage and stuff like that, right? That's more of a complicated stuff. So if you all want a trading tutorial, we might post something like that as well. But coming back to the analysis part, we did get somewhat of a double bottom. It's a pretty strong support around 20 cents, of course. Right after that, in the aftermarket, we can see that we got somewhat of a breather, followed by a red candle. So the next day, of course, was supposed to be a small pullback from this. So we got a gap up initially, and in the pre-market, we're falling, and right now we're down to 20.6 cents. So will the stock go down further and break the 20-cent range? In my opinion, well, it actually might do that, right? It does sound a bit, what do you call it? It does sound a bit frustrating, a bit frightening, but I personally believe that as long as your analysis is on point, you don't need to be scared. So with that, of course, right, even if we get to $1.8 over here, right, over here, let me mark this, for example, $1.8, right, I don't think that we'll fall further below the 18-cent range, or even, if we consider the worst case scenario, 15 cents will probably be the last level that we fall to, right? And that, of course, is keeping in mind that David Missouri actually does something and starts selling vehicles, right? I'm not trying to cause any FUD or, of course, hate on the stock, right? My entire concern is that investors want profits. Investors want a company that's making revenue. Investors want their investments to grow. And I'm speaking for you all out there, right? I'm sure that you can relate to this, that you wake up and you see that, hey, your favorite company or the company that you've invested in has done nothing in the past 1 week. And that, of course, is a really, really big blow as an investor. And nobody wants to take that. But still, some investors, some holders have, struck through with the company through all the bad times. And I really think that Missouri needs to do something to reward them at this point. Anyways, with that being said, I think we really need to head into the 5-minute chart so we can see the stock in a bit more detail. So now that we're in the 5-minute chart, we can see that over here, right, we did not actually fall so much in the pre-market as compared to what we fell in the actual market, right? We got a few negative candles over here, right? They were all pointed downwards. These are pin bar candles, right? And of course, we did get somewhat, not exactly, but somewhat of an engulfing pattern over here at 21.4 cents, right? We did see some strong support at 20.5. This is a good level. And after that, of course, we got another support around 20.7, right? And if, of course, we look over here, we fell below that. And then we got consolidated around 20 cents. And if we look at the aftermarket, right, we did rally a bit, and the rally continued in the pre-market as well. But now it seems to be fading away because over here we got a pin bar reversal pattern on the lower side. We went down, got another pin bar. This was a pretty good opportunity to short the stock, of course. And right now, we can see that, well, we've fallen down to 20.56, right from 20.60. So, well, it does seem like a bad sign to me, if you ask me, right? And even if you look at the previous pre-market for reference, it was something similar, right? We fell down, went up, and fell down again, fell down, went up, fell down again. That's what I'm anticipating, and that's what I'm thinking will happen. We might get supported at 20 cents, but we might even break it. And once we break it, right, why did I move that? Once we break it, we actually might get a massive candle. And by massive, I don't mean like 5 or 10%, but at least like 1%, at least, right? And 1% in a 5-minute candle is massive, in my opinion. So with that, I remain short-term bearish and long-term bullish on Mullen. But of course, this seems to be a good time to be buying. So I'm not exactly saying that, hey, this is a good stock to short. But at the end of the day, still, you should always remember that this definitely is not financial advice, and you should always do your own research before you trade. If, however, you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.